What up, lunatics? Welcome back to Manifest with the Moon. If you are thinking, how comes I can hear this? I'm not subscribed to Manifest with the Moon. Oh boy, we have had some issues. We have moved the podcast over to a new provider who also had a premium extra content subscription only service. Once we moved the entire pod over, we found out they had discontinued that. So we're figuring it out. But for everybody that paid the £4 for their Manifest with the Moon, the only way I could see to make it happen was to simply record it here and put it on my main RSS feed. So if you have not subscribed to this, you are still able to hear it. Good for you. It's the lucky day. If you are new to manifesting with the moon, to tracking the cycle of the moon, oh boy, you are in for a treat. It is a goddamn game changer. So I'm going to start right up top with just saying I ain't no expert, okay? I am no fucking Mystic Meg, God rest her soul. I am not a moon astrology expert. But what I do know is that what I've learnt about cyclical living through several books I've read and several months doing this Manifest with the Moon podcast every single new and full moon is that it's changed my goddamn life. And so I really want to share what I know and what I do with you. And quite often, this is just about accountability. Like, we all know we should be manifesting on the new moon and releasing on the full moon, but we quite often forget to do it, or life gets in the way, life gets busy. And so I kind of like to be your accountability partner and just be like your gentle little podcast friend that's like, come on, light a candle, burn some sage, charge your fucking crystals and, do a little ritual with me. Okay, so I always say this too, this is not an ad, but if you do not have the Stardust app, it is incredible. It's free. You can track your cycle, your menstrual cycle, and it tracks the cycle of the moon. And I have not seen any other apps. I'm sure there are some, but I've not seen any that do that, the two together. And it is very, very powerful. So from my experience, simply being aware of the cycle of the moon is such a powerful thing. Like, we live in brightly lit cities and artificially lit homes, and we are mostly indoors, especially in the winter time, as we are entering into this winter time now. And we get so disconnected from nature. So many studies have shown that we are way more in tune with our bodies when we are in tune with nature. It's literally good for our fucking health. And so even just making a habit of getting out and looking at the moon, just noticing what phase the moon is in, will have an impact on you physically. As a woman, it will have an impact on you. It will literally sync your cycle. It's insane. It's insane. We're basically witches is all I'm trying to say. So every month, for every sort of 29 days, we are going through a cycle, which is a shorter version of the 4 seasons of the year. So the new moon is when it's like a very dark, introverted time, literally in the sky, but also our bodies. And this is a time when we're sort of like ready to plant new seeds. Like, we're coming out of hibernation and we're like, right, let's start to fucking manifest some shit, right? And then the full moon, roughly 2 weeks later, it's kind of like the same as summer. It's the same as ovulation. It's when we're out there kicking the ass out of life, living our best lives. So anyway, let's get on with this new moon. So on October the 14th at 1 p.m, we are going to see a new moon in Libra. But this is also a solar eclipse. And this is the beginning of a whole eclipse season. Now, don't be scared. But eclipse season is a powerful portal for like transformation, and that isn't always easy. It isn't always pleasant, and it can be very, very intense. So if you find yourself having very intense emotions coming up over the next kind of couple of months, then that is going to be what it is. We are in fucking eclipse season, baby. So maybe one of your intentions that you could set at this time is to kind of bring awareness to yourself and awareness to the season that we're in, to kind of mitigate against how we're naturally going to be feeling around this unsettled eclipse season. Now, we are also in Libra, and Libra is the sign of relationships. So a lot of this like powerful energy, a lot of this uncertainty, a lot of this intenseness may manifest around your relationships. And this could be an ideal time to really look at your life and think, are there any relationships in your life that you are holding on to for grim death that you need to release? Do you need to make a new start somewhere in your life that's to do with relationships? And maybe you need to look at some of the closest relationships in your life and see if they are balanced, if they're healthy. Are you having a fair exchange in this relationship? Are you taking too much, or maybe you're giving too much? This is just something for us all to be aware of around this time. Now, I know that when we did the last Manifest with the Moon episode, we were talking about course correcting a little bit in our lives and kind of making some changes ahead of the eclipse season. By the way, I don't edit these episodes because she doesn't have time. I've got to pick my children up from nursery in about 30 minutes. So there we go. Sorry, just in case you think, oh, she's stumbled and she's not edited it out. No, she hasn't. So look at your life, look at your relationships and see if there is anything that you maybe need to course correct on now before, well, sorry, it's fucking too late. Eclipse season's pretty much started, because the eclipse season will show us somewhat unceremonially how we need to get back onto the right path. And sometimes that shows up in a really difficult way. Sometimes that shows up in a way that can be very, very intense and not easy to deal with. But guess what? It's fucking necessary. It's necessary. So again, because this is all about relationships this next couple of weeks, especially during this Libra season, we need to look at our communication. This just goes hand in hand with relationships. Make sure your communication is as open and as clear as possible, and that's going to help you in this phase. So normally I would be saying to you that the new moon is the perfect time to set goals for the month ahead, because this is like the universe's gift of a fresh start. Each month we get this. This is a gift of a fresh start, and this energy is like the seed sowing kind of energy. And we're like, yeah, this is like an opportunity to look forward and see what we want to bring into our lives consciously. But I'm going to say this time, hold off at least until Sunday or Monday, a couple days after, because you do not want to be manifesting and setting intentions actually on the new moon when it's an eclipse, because that energy is very, very unstable. Remember how we were talking earlier about how it can feel very unstable, it can feel very intense. So you don't want to be manifesting directly on that powerful energy. You want to wait until maybe like the night after. So do you know what? Sunday night, live your best life. Monday, Tuesday, do it. Like, that's going to be great for you. Now, one of the most beautiful things about setting monthly goals in accordance with the moon is the new moon and the full moon are like nature's little reminders to be like, hey, bitch, have you manifested those goals that you wrote down in your notebook last month? Hey, have you truly let go of the things you said you wanted to let go of on the last full moon? And this is why it's such a beautiful practice to keep a new and full moon diary. Now, I have a lovely little notebook here that apparently I bought from Neon Sheep. I don't ever remember this, but it's got Aquarius on the front. It's got my zodiac sign, and it's beautiful. And I just write one page per full and new moon. And it's very, very simple. I'm not into doing a ton of journaling. I'm not into making things more complicated for myself than they need to be. I simply write on the on the new moon, what it is that I want to manifest into my life in the coming month and my intentions for the month. And on the full moon, I write a little list of things that I want to release from my life and what I kind of want to let go of. So let's not do this on Saturday. Let's do this on Sunday, Monday. Pretend this is on Sunday or Monday, okay? So when we are doing a new moon ritual, one of the first things you want to do is to add light. So the new moon is like the darkest time, right? It's like the dark night sky. There's nothing lighting our way. And so it can be really nice to light a candle and have that in your area that you're going to be performing this ritual, because it represents the light that we currently don't see. So make sure that you have a clean, uncluttered, beautiful space where you're not going to get distracted by other people, or you're not going to get interrupted all the time. And when we talk about creating a sacred space to do your moon rituals, this is literally all we're talking about: clearing the clutter. You might want to set out some crystals, light a candle, make sure that you have your journal, your diary, anything else that you want to use. Like I said, lighting a candle, this is very symbolic on a new moon as it's the darkest night. Or you might want to have a little fire pit in the garden and really connect with the energy of nature. You might want to have your feet grounded on the earth. You might want to have nothing between you and the universe, just looking up and seeing the night sky. Okay. Now, this is the point where I would go back into my journal and look at what I wanted to manifest last new moon and see if those things have kind of come into my life, or if I'm any further forward with them. And this is a great gift, even if you haven't moved forward with any of them, just being given the reminder and being like, you wrote this a month ago and a full moon has passed, like it's been and gone, we're back round, and has anything changed? It's such a lovely reminder to yourself. And your goals for the month don't have to be huge. They don't have to be massive, massive goals. We're talking fucking 28, 29 days here. Do you know what I mean? You're not gonna build Rome in 28 days. So, for example, mine were, I only had 4 or 5. Mine were to continue on my feminine energy path, because that's something I'm really exploring at the moment. I wanted to start writing my book, which I 100% have. I'm almost halfway through. It was to give adequate time and energy to my extension and remodel. So I can have a habit of like just burying my head in the sand and just cracking on with work and being so busy with like childcare, work, trying to live my fucking best life, that I don't always put enough time and energy into this fucking home remodel that I'm doing, that is going to be my backdrop to my fucking life. So taking out the time and energy and not seeing it as a waste to really, spend an hour looking at fucking door handles and taking a couple of trips to the flooring shop and then bringing samples home and being like, do you know what? Actually, that doesn't match. Like, that doesn't match the doors. I need to change it. I need to do it. So really dedicating some time and energy to this remodel has felt really almost like therapeutic for me. It's like I'm really giving it the energy that it deserves. I put here, have an amazing time for the twins' birthday, because a month ago they hadn't even had their birthday, and I was very nervous because they weren't physically with me on the actual day. We were having a big party, and of course you always worry about, is the weather going to play ball, and are they going to be playing ball? Are they going to have a good time, or are they going to be overwhelmed? And they had an amazing time. So it's nice to see that actually came to fruition. So anyway, look back on your goals and your intentions a month ago. If this is your first rodeo, don't worry about that. You're going to be able to do that next month. And just take a little bit of time to really think, have I moved further forward with any of these goals? Am I living more in alignment with these intentions? And just be honest with yourself and see how you can improve that in the month to come. And now you're going to want to be thinking about, what would you like to manifest for the month ahead? What are your intentions for the month ahead? What would you like to see to come to fruition this month? And these don't always have to be physical goals. These can also be just how you want to see things differently in your life. If something is really bothering you, like mentally, or you're reacting to something and you're not happy about how you're reacting to something, it might be that you want to change your mindset around that. It could be that you want to make different choices for yourself than you've been making. It could be that you want to feel a certain way. It doesn't have to always be a physical goal. Like I say, mine are always very simple. I don't do many. I usually do like 3 or 4. But this is also a lovely time to think about what your intentions are for this autumnal period. We are now fully balls deep into autumn. And it's nice to really center your intentions around this period, around this season. So my intentions for autumn are, I really want to make the most of this season and not be tempted to like jump ahead and be straight into like, oh my God, let's go to the garden centre and look at Christmas decorations. Like, I really want to take in every last sunny day that I can still sit out in my garden. I really want to take in every last moment where, you know, you can go for nice walks and you're not freezing your tits off. I want to enjoy some really lovely autumnal activities. The girls are obsessed with Halloween. Bo and I have already done this beautiful little tradition where we decorate our front porch with all pumpkins and everything. She really enjoyed doing that. We're going to have a lovely Halloween, do trick or treating. We're going to have a bonfire party. We're going to have an amazing half term with a lot of like autumnal kind of activities. One of the things that I really want to do, and I've never managed to do this with all three girls, is I want to get amazing woodland autumnal photo shoot pictures, because do you know what? Photo shoots are one of those things that your kids will grow so quickly and time will pass. And if you don't get those shots, like, it's fucking gone forever. So for me, trying to organise this photo shoot is so fucking stressful. Like, the amount of times being like, no, the weather, got to rearrange. Right, we're going to do it this day. No, my sister can't do that day. Oh, the twins will be grumpy at this time. No, it's a full moon. The children will be wild. But trying to get that done and get that nailed is going to be incredible, because I know how much I will love having those pictures in my home and having them for the future. So it's worth the time and energy taken on it. So have a little think about what you would like to achieve, or not even achieve, what you would like to experience this autumn and how you'd like to make the most of this season. Then looking forward to just the month ahead. What goals do you have for this month that you would like to see to come to fruition? What intentions do you have for how you want to be, how you want to feel this month? So mine are, I want to continue to work on my home remodel. Living in a building site is really fucking stressful, and I continue to set the intention that living through this building work will continue to be an easy, delightful process, because it is something that can fucking bring you to your knees. Like, living in a building site can be very stressful. Currently have no kitchen. I currently have no dining table. If I want to put things in the dishwasher, I have to go out my front door, walk down the driveway, unlock the utility room door and go in that way. So shit's getting wild over here, okay? It's getting wild. But that is my intention, to continue to make this passage of time as easy as possible. Something that suddenly came up for me yesterday was like, why don't I go on holiday? Why don't I go on holiday? So I have thought about going on like a relatively cheap, all-inclusive holiday to somewhere that's still warm, just because someone is going to feed us 3 meals a day and we're not going to be living in the building site. So I'm thinking about how that could come to fruition. If I could ask my builder, look, when do you think is going to be the most disruptive time? And I might just go away for a week, because it's probably going to be a hell of a lot easier than living at home. So that could be like an amazing way to overcome that. Anyway, I won't bore you with all of my goals for this coming month, but that's just an example of one of them. Oh, no, I'll give you one more. I really want to finish writing my first book. And I know that's quite a stretch to say I'm going to finish it in this 28-day period. But you know what? She likes a stretch. She likes a big goal. So write out your goals. You can say them out loud if you want. Something that's nice to do is to go outside, so there's nothing between you and the moon. There's nothing between you and the sky, and say your goals out loud to the universe, out loud to the moon. That's a really lovely thing to do. You can end each sentence with this or more, this or something better. So you're open to co-creation. You are open to guidance and assistance over the next month to bring what you want into your life without being a controlling manifester. You know, if I said, right, I want to date Steve Coogan and nobody else, like, that's quite a closed off, controlling manifestation. We may be very toxic for each other. He may make me very unhappy. Maybe dating him means that he, you know, breaks up with his partner. Maybe dating him is a negative thing for my children. Do you know what I mean? I'm giving a very random example here. But imagine if you said, I really want to go on a date, like I am going to date Steve Coogan, this or something better, then actually the universe is then open to interpret that and to help you to achieve something that is far better than you could have even conceived. Maybe for you, Steve Coogan is like the be all and end all. I don't know why it's Steve Coogan. I think it's because I started watching The Reckoning last night and that's all I can think of. So make that list. End each sentence with this or something better, this or something more. You can put on a short guided meditation. I have one called Manifest Your Goals on my website, francescaramber.com, if you are interested, or a piece of high frequency music. And you can just lay down and visualize how you see your life going for the month ahead. You can see your goals manifesting into your reality. And remember to thank the moon and the universe for working with you. Show gratitude always. And when you're finished, blow out that candle and get on with your goddamn life. That is as simple as it is. That is my new moon manifesting ritual. I hope that you've enjoyed this. I hope that you will have a lovely new moon. I hope that the eclipse isn't too fucking savage for you. Don't do anything crazy. Honestly, you would be amazed at how much these astrological events affect us. The last super full moon, I went to a women's circle, and just before I went, I sent a message to my dick appointment and I was like, do you know what? Fuck you. I don't want to see you anymore. And then I went to this women's circle and she was like, oh, make sure you don't have any like weird communication. Like, don't say things you don't mean over this super full moon, because I've just broken up with my partner. And literally the last time we broke up was a super full moon. And this is someone that she had like traveled across the country to be with. And I was like, oh, maybe it wasn't them. Maybe it was me. Maybe it was the moon. So just be aware. We are entering eclipse season. Start researching, get to know, follow some accounts that will help you make sense of this like quite intense, crazy time. And yeah, I will see you next time for the full moon, which will be in approximately 2 weeks. All right, I'll see you then. Thanks. Bye.